he went, your eyebrow could be 17 foot big, so stop moving it. And you know, little things like that.
Have you ever seen that Michael Caine Masterclass on YouTube? And it's brilliant the way he talks about it. I think he's got like Celia Emery in it.
It was on the other day actually.
Yeah, and little things that you don't know if you've never been in that world. And they make all the difference, don't they? Like, it's just
he gave me the best advice I ever had as an actor. So, yeah. But no, I think I was lucky enough to film with him, and it was a masterclass watching him. I was on it for about 4 months and spent a lot of time with him in it. Even before the film started, he did a big press conference up at the Reform Club in Pall Mall, and they shut Pall Mall for a press call. I've never seen so many paps. And then he did a press conference afterwards, and that in itself was a masterclass. And they asked him about bad reviews, and he said, I've had 3 bad reviews. He said, one was the Evening Standard, and he mentioned 2 other papers that are now defunct. I can't remember. He went, but I'm still here.
Yeah. And he was out of work.
So no, that was a massive. I think that was. Yeah, working with him was a bit special. It was great.
Local boy as well.
Yeah.
Used to live on the same street as me mum, Owen Street.
Oh
just off Walworth Road and that.
Yeah.
Like, so,
That's the question. Is what 2 Oscar winners were born at the Elephant? It's him and Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah, East Street Market.
Charlie Chaplin.
East Street Market.
That's why why there was a pub called the Charlie Chaplin at the Elephant.
His mum was in the workhouse in Kennington.
Yeah.
That's why you had the pub there, the Charlie Chaplin.
Probably the first global acting superstar and all, really.
Chaplin, probably. Yeah. So I did my first one on stage at the Albany. I think it was the first show that went on at the new theatre when the new theatre opened. So I went from the sort of what was called the basement theatre, which was like the youth theatre, to the combination, which was the professional theatre. 40 years ago this year.
Yeah. So you didn't go through the drama school?
I went to SMARDA, the Smithfield Academy of Dramatic Art. So when people say to me, "Oh, you play really convincing gangsters," it's because I worked for 10 years at Smithfield. So that's when I first left school. I went to work at Smithfield because it was like a family. I think I was like 5th, 6th generation to work up there at the time. Because my dad worked for my grandfather up there at Smithfield, and then when he signed pro for Millwall, we took a pay cut to play for Millwall. He was earning more money working with my granddad at Smithfield.
Your dad was played at Millwall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, against Fulham, didn't he, in the cup?
Yeah. But don't say that to Barry Rowan, because he said he scored the other goal that night and no one talks about it.
His name was First Division and we knocked him out the cup.
Yeah. They're famous. Before subs, and so my dad was injured, so they stuck him up front to be a nuisance, and he scored the goal because he managed to run 10 yards and tap it in. Of course, over the years, it was a 50-yard volley from the halfway line.
Get more distance.
But I got the photos. It was just inside the 6-yard box.
70-yard Podenka.
Yeah. But George Cohen weren't very happy. He said, the only reason I didn't chase you was I felt sorry for you. He was playing for Fulham at the time and stuff. Yeah.
What was your first film, TV or film role?
Well, the first TV role was in Desmond's because I knew Tricks, and he got me a guest in that, and
I remember it. One
thing connects to the. Well, it was on London Live, and I thought, because I knew all the cars pretty well. And I thought, it's the episode I'm in. You know, the trouble is when you look at stuff like that, you think, was I ever that young?
You get your hair cut in it, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm getting my hair cut as well. I played a boxer, yeah. But
what was he like to work with Norman Baton?
Yeah, knew Norman pretty well from the Albany, because he did a lot of shows at the Albany, so I knew sort of Norman, a lot of that cast I sort of knew him really well, to be fair. But
that Greenham Country was based on his name he was St Lucian geezer, and he was
based on true story. He was from Deptford, yeah, that's right.
And they revoked his citizenship, didn't they?
So it was based on true story. And obviously they got, just before he became really famous, they got Denzel Washington over to to play the part. And
is it right you took him to the old den?
I did take him to the old den. That is, it's not an urban myth, it's true.
Denzel Washington down the den.
So, a long story short, because of Irving, he kept all he could hear every time he was sort of being in South London doing this sort of research, being a good method actor that he is. He goes, I keep hearing Millwall, I've got to go to Millwall because this is the old den. You know, so Tim Bevan, who was working title, was producing. There's no way he's going to the Millwall. Yeah. So Trick said, well, let him go with Frank. It'll probably be all right if he goes with Frank. So, and we played Leeds, as we helped say. It was a little bit lively. And
so you lost?
I can't remember. I think we won.
Yeah, we always win at the den, and we never win. We always lose.
That'd have been the year we went up, probably.
Probably, yeah, it was.
We always lose.
But we stood on the Coblow Lane end, and after about 20, he stood there and said a word. After about 20 minutes, he went, "You all right?" He went, "Yeah." I said, "No, I know why it's called the Lion's Den." I said, "Why is that?" He said, "This has got to be the closest you're ever going to get to the Colosseum when it was open and they were feeding Christians to lions."
Oh, brilliant.
Sorry, do you guys want another one?
Half of that Moretti.
Half a Moretti, yeah.
It's that one won't work again.
I'll get these, mate.
No, yeah, I understand.
I'll have a Guinness.
I'm all right with me. I'll tell you what. Can I have a Pepsi Max?
Pepsi Max.
I've told I can't drink Diet Coke. It's not good for me.
Besides this film, what has been the best film you've been in?
That's difficult. And I think different films have different memories. So I think the sort of two early films I did with Shane Meadows, 24/7, which was his first film, and to work with Bob Hoskins at the time, that was like, he's one of my heroes. And
you do Romeo Brass?
I did Romeo Brass as well. Yeah, I did Shane's first two films, and I have very happy memories of that. It sometimes I'm going to quote The Sopranos now, but it's a good feeling when you're at the beginning of something, and it was the beginning of a lot of directors' careers. Whether it was Shane, Nick Love, Guy Ritchie, it was an exciting time to be in the industry. And obviously Lock Stock, that was sort of the problem is with Lock Stock, and I've said this many times, when you're inside looking out, you don't quite comprehend what's going on or how big an impact it had.
Do you ever have an idea of how well a film was going to be received when you sort of act?
No, I didn't have a clue. I'm not going to embarrass anyone, but on the first day, my first day in Lock Stock, I've arrived on set, and one of the actors who was probably one of the most experienced on it, and I ain't going to say any more than that, he said, "Don't build up your hopes for this." He said, "It's a bit Mickey Mouse, they're shooting on Super 16, not 35mm. The Super 16 was a cheap way of shooting back then, rather than use 35. It's all digital now, but back then, Super 16, and it's a cheap way of doing it. So, Lock Stock was back then was a really low budget film. That probably wouldn't seem like it now, but back then it was. But I just think there was a perfect storm around that film, and
fantastic.
And it was a great cast, and we had a great time doing it. We had a lot of fun doing it, and I think that's things like that you remember.
What about your most interesting character you've played?
God, I've always liked the.
Thank you very much, mate. Cheers. I always liked the character I played in St George's Day. There was something about that character that was had a lot of levels to it that I think a lot of people never really picked up on. So, but yeah, I think. But obviously, playing a lot of bad guys and gangsters, it's sort of. They're the fun characters. They're the best characters to play. They're the most fun. I remember when I did Bend It Like Beckham, someone said to me, "That must have been really hard for you to play that character. Like, you're a really nice guy." And I went, "No, that's me. No acting required. I'm a nice guy, and the women in my life drive me mad. That's my life." Do you Keira Knightley's dad in that?
I play Keira's dad in that, yeah, with the brilliant Juliet Stevenson.
Oh yeah, she was in that,
Yeah, she was brilliant. I love working with her. She was brilliant. She was great.
great actress.
Do you still run a drama class?
I've never really run a drama class. There's a couple of schools. One's called the Real Scene, and the other's the International School of Screen Acting. And I wouldn't say I run classes. I go in there and direct projects. So they're gearing up soon to sort of do graduation films, and some are better than others. But I mean, I did a film a couple of years ago called Solitaire, which has been out in the film festivals that I shot at the school at 3 Mills. So I wouldn't say I teach. I mean, I'll go in and direct. I wouldn't class myself as a teacher.
It's like a mentoring. You mentor.
Yeah, I mentor. Yeah. I try. I've come across some real talent in the last 3 or 4 years. So I think that you're trying to help bring them through. I remember I did the guy that ran the Albany back in the day, that had a massive influence on my early career, and sort of he got me my equity cards. A guy called John Turner, and I did a music video directed a music video, and I got John to come in and do a little cameo in it. And we were chatting, and he was saying, like, I said, I'm really proud of what you've done, with your career. But he said, I'm really glad you're directing and teaching young actors. It's important to pass the knowledge on. I see a brilliant T-shirt once in Los Angeles that said, being an actor's like being in the mafia. You can never really retire because you know too much. So I think it's just tickled me. I was tempted to buy it, and then my missus looked at me, don't be ridiculous. But no, I think it's, I was lucky early in my career, people like Hoskins and that took their time to sort of help you, and I've never forgot that, and I think it's important that you pass the knowledge on, without sounding, a little bit sort of whatever, but no, I think I'll actually...
How did you get involved in this film?
He's got a tape on me.
Yeah, I kept bugging him. Kept tagging him on Facebook.
He's got a tape on me. He's got incriminating evidence.
Say I.
Yeah. No, I you just messaged me on Facebook, didn't you? And he sent me this, and obviously, I remember Michael from back when we was at the Northwest Kent College, and he sent me the script, and I sort of, when he was explaining to me what he was trying to do, and I thought, well, it's sort of what I've been trying to do as well, So, but he sent me the script, and I thought, well, that's a good little cameo, it's a good little, And I just want, one, I wanted to support, young director, and two, I really liked the part. I thought this will be fun, and once I knew the cast as well, like people like David Shaw and Bass Black, I had a lot of mates in it as well. It was a no-brainer, really.
Tell me about your character.
He's a sort of old-fashioned gentleman thief, really. He's a sort of Cockney Raffles. So he goes in, and although he's pointing guns at people, he's being incredibly polite. So and it was a really well-written scene, and it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun to do. Yeah.
Do you think it's different from other films in that genre?
I think it's more. I think there's a lot of comedy in it. So if I compare it to St George's Day, which I wrote and directed, I think there's a lot of humour in St George's Day, but it's less deliberate. Where I think with Bermondsey Tales, it's very gallows humour in St George's Day. Where I think there's just some of the stuff in Bermondsey is just pure comedy. It's really funny. Even to my scene. When I read it, I was laughing reading it. You can imagine playing it. And I think once I saw the film a few months ago, there's some great comedy performances. He's not bad either, to be fair to him. He's pretty good in it. No, it's a very difficult thing, and I know because I've done it. Trying to direct a film and play a lead role and try and keep it all together. And it's important that I feel I was lucky in the same way you were. I had a very experienced cast, but you still got to try and carry the film and direct it. And it's not easy, I'm not giving it the big one here. I suppose I am, but no, it's just not easy,
No, but again, the cast for St George's Day, you had yourself,
Liam Trotter.
yeah, Neil Maskell's unreal, Tony, and then Charles Dance and Dexter Fletcher.
Yeah, I remember the opening scene near the Clarendon and Blackheath. They were the ladies in the common. I loved it.
But I think if you're working with good people, it
does help. No, I think probably you found with Bermondsey, I sort of found with that when you've got an experienced cast, it does make your life easy because they're on the money from the first take.
Well, you playing George, it's based on The Gentleman Robber, which was a great uncle, and you just play it with this charm and wit. But it's what Frank does. It's what he's made. It's why Frank is Frank.
Felt like the trailer was very much centred around that scene as well. That was like the main.
Because it makes it. And Frank again. It was scripted, but a lot of it was off the cuff.
We improvised a bit of it.
And there's some great bits with you and Jade.
Yeah. He said Jade was great. It was. He said to me, I said, "Do you mind if I improvise?" And he went, "No." I said, "Touch, I ain't got to know my lines."
Yeah. I actually went, "Do you know your lines?" He went, "No, I'm improvising."
What next for you, Frank?
Well, we're trying to put together, working with Michael on this one film. So at the moment we've got a slate of 3, possibly 4 films. One is to do with the film school that I've been working at. We want to try and got a lot of talented young actors there, and I think if we can throw a few professionals in with them, we're looking to adapt a very famous play, but I can't say more than that at the moment. No, so it's a bit hush hush, but
I'm intrigued.
But it'd be a great chance, and obviously, it would give, I think, a group of really talented young actors a little bit of a leg up.
I think we can say the fact it's hard to find. 80% of people that train are females.
Yeah,
80% of parts are men.
Yeah.
So if you can find a female-led script that can help young females and young actresses, and then you put a couple of older actresses in, so that's sort of the.
I'm speculating about what the play is now.
I did as an exercise. There's the famous opening scene, which was one of the best scenes ever written. The opening scene to Reservoir Dogs.
Yes.
When they're
like a virgin about.
Yeah. So they're arguing about Madonna and tips, but there's so much to it, so much more to it than that. But I did it with 6 women. We shot it with 6 women playing them roles, and it's one of the best things I've ever done, in my opinion. I thought it was fabulous.
In fact, it was young women as well. So it brought a different energy to it.
Different energy.
It's that thing as well. That conversation shouldn't be interesting to watch, but it is.
It's brilliant. It's genius.
Same as like in Pulp Fiction when they're talking about burgers and what they call it in.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be interesting.
The foot massage.
The foot massage.
It's like intoxicating, isn't it?
No, I think that. It's interesting that there's no. It's no coincidence that Tarantino called his second movie Pulp Fiction, because he was massively influenced by a guy called Raymond Chandler.
Marlowe.
Exactly. So, like Pulp Fiction to me is like the Big Sleep meets the Maltese Falcon.
Brilliant, yeah.
So.
The Long Goodbye.
Strangers on the Train.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that they get this history of the cinema, and then they, as young actors, they suddenly discover Paul Newman and Brando and people like that,
And that's why you should never feel bad about paying homage or using something. Even the people at the top of the tree have always done it.
It's lovingly ripped off. Everything. What was the last original thought humankind had on it?
I reckon that all Shakespeare's works can be traced back to
Marlowe.
Well, I reckon Marlowe wrote a lot of them.
The Greek and Roman.
I
think is it Joseph Campbell or something? And he said there's only like 8 different plots.
It's like the rise and fall of a man. Every rom-com is Romeo and Juliet with a happy ending.
Exactly. Yeah.
Anything else to add?
No, just saying we've got this slate of films, so we want to do Michael's stage play Worth a Flutter, which is sort of a rom-com,
I've seen that, you know. I've seen that.
Yeah, the one with
Was
Lucy
that one at
Pickler.
Greenwich?
No, that was at the Hope.
Oh,
Lucy
that ran
Pickler.
Sword, wasn't it? Sword and the...
Oh, that was the musical. Yeah, don't tell Frank about that. It's not working with me.
Well, I've seen Worth of
Moonlight.
Fuck.
Yeah, yeah.
But
So you're still looking for investors?
Yeah.
You got all, yeah?
Yeah, no, yeah, if we can get,
it's a film industry. We're always looking for
yeah,
investors.
yeah.
Yeah.
But like I said, the one difference with, and I say the one but we want to make sure that it's the right budget, and we want to take out the production fees, because you find some films they can take.
It's a rip-off.
Yeah, and that's,
Let's
yeah,
call
you
it
can
what it
say,
is.
yeah,
It's
an
a rip-off.
absolute-
It's a rip-off. I mean, I'm not afraid to call it how it is. A lot of these films are complete rip-offs, and that's the bottom line. To be fair,
Where if you take the money, like with Bermondsey, for what we shot it for, with the cast we've got, is a liberty. But it's because me and Ro didn't go, right, well, we want, or when we've had people approach us, go, I want you to make this film, I want 40 grand for it. What? But you're not worth nothing. No, but I want 40, fuck off. You know what? It just doesn't work, and that's what we want to do.
also the industry's changed out of all proportion because of the technology.
You were saying about the Marvel stuff, and
Yeah.
all, so it's difficult just for independent American films, as it is, let alone a
Well, the
British film.
American
now,
film.
being
The only person that's making independent American films, to my knowledge now, is Clint Eastwood and the Coen brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they've got the
And they've got the
clout,
background.
ain't
Yeah,
they?
they've got that clout. You know.
Even Scorsese was saying he had to put The Irishman on Netflix because he ain't going to be able to compete with like the Marvel stuff in the cinema.
No, you
It's
can't.
saturated the market,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, it's-
Well, the clever thing, not the clever thing, but the reality of Marvel is that,
Yeah, you're right, mate,
and
yeah.
DC, that its audience goes back to people in their 70s and 80s.
so it's generational.
It's every generation
I
since the
mean,
1940s.
It's not for me, but that's the way cinema goes. But trends changed. Didn't
Scarlett
they?
Johansson's a Black Widow. Come on.
Yeah, in a catsuit maybe.
But even cinema on that, how are you going to get, if you've got whatever, I don't know what's coming out and we're coming out, but it's probably going to be a film with like Tom Hardy in it or something.
Well,
you
it's
know
a
what I mean?
lean period now because where you've had the Oscars, the films that are like sort of made for the award season come out. Sort
Yeah,
of,
yeah.
all of in
Oh,
America
hopefully,
and that.
maybe
but,
that's why they've released it when they've released it.
Yeah.
They know more than
I'm
us.
going to turn the camera off,
campaign.
all right?
Yeah, cheers.
Finish?
Thank you.